Hi, this is Leigh, and I'd like to welcome you to Alcmy Intuitive Arts. I am your mystical tour guide to take you on a cosmic trip through the spiritual galaxy. So if that piques your interest, and I hope it does, then punch your ticket and climb aboard, and let's explore the universe together. I appreciate each and every one of you, your likes, subscribes, comments, and shares, and your ability to help me grow this channel and to help me get the messages out. The messages that we share here, or that I share here, that we share here as a group, are spiritual messages, and I come by these messages through my intuition, through my psychic foresight, and through my logical mind, as well as downloads from the Most High.
Welcome to Alcmy Intuitive Arts, for entertainment only. Use your discernment, all rights reserved. Everyone is welcome. Do no harm. Join our community. Thank you.
So today we're going to talk about the energy of the end of the year, and I am calling this harvest season, and all of a sudden I get like an eyelash in my eye. That's odd, right when I turn on this part of the message. I'm going to talk about harvest season, and today is November 11th, 2025. It is 11/11, which is a divine number, and 2025 comes out to 9, and that indicates endings. And of course, we recently had the harvest moon. And harvest, as we know, is the time of year when all of our hard work comes to fruition. We have collected up all of our crops, and we are preparing ourselves to go into the cold season, or the darkness of the winter. This can also be considered somewhat of an ending, because as you know, all the crops look old and dead, and we won't see them again for another year. So we have the harvest moon, we have the 11/11 with the 9 portal, which is divine endings in my mind as an angel number. And we also have a very strange phenomena occurring in the cosmos, and that is this 3-eye atlas. And it almost sounds like third eye. And what this is some kind of space rock, asteroid, meteor. Some even say it's a ship of some kind. It's difficult to know because we don't have good eyes on this space phenomena. What we have seen and what it's manifesting lately is that it has a lot of reflection to it. Some are saying it's reflecting blue, kind of light. It's reflecting off a blue hue. Almost like a blue light. And what's interesting about this is it's coming from deep space. It's coming from a location, a galaxy that is very, very ancient. And so we don't know a lot about what this thing is. And it's going to be slipping behind the sun, and so we won't be able to see it, but it will be closest to us in December. And I think they said around December 16th, which consequently or coincidentally is when Mercury retrograde is going to end. So that is another coincidence. So we have like all of these spiritual events kind of lining up. I think we also have some other retrogrades. We're in the season of Scorpio, which I happen to be a Scorpio. What we're seeing and what we know about Scorpio is that Scorpio is the holder of hidden knowledge. Scorpio is not one to come out and just say a bunch of stuff, not one to have mouth vomit, so to speak. They kind of keep things close to the belt, such as this phenomenon of what is going on. We have Mercury retrograde, which indicates that, things are not normal. They're not as they seem. We are during a time of revisiting things. That lines up with harvest. So harvest, when we look at that, we have planted these seeds physically or metaphorically in our lives. We're harvesting all of the vegetables, the fruit, etc., or the fruit of our works. And this harvest can be for good or not so good, depending on what you've been dabbling in and depending on what you're putting out there. So this is harvest season. And the effect of this asteroid or whatever this space junk is or whatever it is magnifying the effects of the sun and magnifying the effects of the atmosphere. This too is going to, as I said, affect this harvest season. And since we are in a final year, meaning 2025 comes out to be 9 is endings, and so we are harvesting. We're going to see the fruits of our labor, good or bad, and we are going to face the judgments or the endings, the final outcome of our harvest. With this harvest moon, we're going to see this magnified. And with Mercury retrograde, we're going to see things coming back to us. Now, Mercury has gone through its initial shadow period. I think it started on the 10th. Today is 11/11. So we're moving directly into Mercury retrograde, and it's supposed to have its time that it turns direct at the end of November, and it kind of finishes out its shadow period, which is where there's still energy of the retrograde around mid-December. And as I said, I think it's the 16th. So this is carrying us up right until the end of the year. So we are in a very pivotal period in our lives. We have this heavy energy from the harvest moon, which indicates manifesting what we have created, dealing with what we've created. And with retrograde, we may see some blowback or some revisiting of what we created or what others have created with us. Perhaps you have karmic people in your life. You might see some blowback from those situations. This may be a period of loss, or it may be a period of manifesting what you have paid into, and that can manifest in abundance as well. You can harvest that abundance, which is the great big pumpkins, the awesome vegetables. You have beautiful apples and all the wonderful things. It could be, money in your pocket. It could be a new job. It could be a benefit to your business. It could be a new relationship. All of these things are ways that we can manifest with harvest. Now, if you have been doing something not so good, you may have losses. You may have losses financially, physically, in your health. You may lose people. It may impact your stability. These are all ways that things can happen in harvest. With retrograde, we can be revisited by things that we either didn't deal with before, or people, places, or things that re-enter our life. And on a larger scale, we are talking about world events. What has been put into play in the world in the past year, in the past 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Since this is a year of the 9, we're talking about endings. So whatever seeds have been planted, and when you're talking about world seeds, we're talking about war, fiscal responsibility. We're talking about people in revolt, people in uprise. We are talking about people that are beginning to work together. We are talking about, technological changes, which we know with AI is our future. And it's going to be our future in ways that we can't even anticipate. And so the old ways of what we've known in the past are going to change. because next year we are going to enter a beginning here, okay? And so we've got this portal, the 1111 portal, which is today. And this energy is going to carry on. But today you can manifest with this energy to create and guide, direct the energy for your harvest, your endings. You have a great opportunity with this harvest energy from the moon to manifest. And with Scorpio kind of being the arbiter of the underworld, right? The arbiter of things that are unknown. It is a good time to leverage what you don't know and move it into what you do know. Use that scorpionic energy to use your discernment, get your downloads, use your heart chakra, put things into action with your solar plexus, have passion with your sacral, and stay grounded with your root. These are the ways that we can stay focused during a time of great change. And as we see the year end, we are going to see the beginnings of the great change. I'm going to call it the Great Awakening. The Great Awakening. And for some, it may be the Great Sleep for the masses, for people that aren't aware, that for people that don't question things. They're just going to be, blindly following what is fed to them through social media. But for those who are aware and conscious and consciously making decisions and, looking at things and trying to be reflective about things and doing that with compassion, with gratitude, with kindness, we are going to see that those people will move forward in the Great Awakening. And this Great Awakening is going to begin as we move into this coming year. And it may begin with a great big tower. I look at towers as a metaphor for, needed deconstruction of things. We all know that there's a lot of bad stuff going on, and we are witnessing a lot of deconstruction, a lot of endings coming together as we speak. We see it on social media, we see it on the news, we see it on TV, and we're going to see it as the year closes out. And with the retrograde, we just need to be sensitive to not fall for the okie doke. When people come back to you, make sure that you are aware of what has gone before and that you are on your path. Stay focused. What is your passion? The best way to stay focused is to live in your passion. So the energy for the end of the year is quite significant. The energy for this ending of 2025 is quite significant. The 1111 portal is a divine portal which gives you divine support of Spirit, God, the Most High, the universal source, Allah, Jah, however you want to define it. That energy is going to be supporting you if you choose to use it, if you choose to be in alignment with it. And also the energy of this space object, which is 3-eye Atlas. Third Eye Atlas. I mean, that is a crazy name for a very unconventional, never before seen, at least never before discussed about type of space object, which has significant energy that does affect us whether we realize it or not. And then, of course, we have the energy of the full moon that's going to, propel us through this Mercury retrograde period. So what I'm saying to you is that we are in a significant time. And it is more significant this year than any other year that I know about. I'm not an astrologer. I'm not, I haven't been talking on this subject for years and years. But I can see by all these different alignments that we are in a very significant ending. So, use the energy to your advantage. Transmute. If you're dealing with shadow energy, like you planted some bad seeds, then it's a good time to revisit what you've been doing and make that right. We don't get away with things. We have to make it right. You have to correct things. It's not for us to feel shameful about. We are learning our lessons. And so we learn our lessons, we make corrections, we make iterations as we need to, we calibrate the system, and then we go forward. And if we don't calibrate correctly, then guess what? We're going to be out of balance. And we're going to be faced with that lesson again. This is me asking you to think about this and to ask yourself, what is it that I need to do now? What is it that I need to prepare for next year? And what is it that this year has taught me? I wish you an abundant harvest. And with that said, I'd like to say thank you, peace, love.